I can say that I told somebody.
So I'm not the only one that has that information.
Somebody else told me. Somebody else knows.
Yeah, in 30 seconds it will be gone.
It's not just me. Hey, everybody. Hasn't said we're live yet, but we know that that's a lie because then we always notice that we're live. So how's it going?
Oh, are you talking? Hi.
Hi.
I'm fine.
Are you joining us?
I'm
coming in. Are you coming on in?
I'm here.
Okay, good.
My brain is 7 other places, but I'm going to be present.
Excellent. Yes, there's lots to think about at the moment. We just came off from a really fun IX mastermind call with all of our people. We had a guest speaker, Evan Headley, who was in our How the Hell show a while back. And he's just a Montana sheep rancher who has started a wool empire by going up against the big names in the wool industry. And there's just a lot of parallels to our life. And I think it's fascinating. So,
yeah, and he is absolutely kicking ass. So
yeah,
it's
super
really
fun.
cool to see.
And I think made a lot of good connections for our mastermind group because there's a lot of people in his position, like literally where he was, I don't know how many years ago, but that's a question we should have asked. Like, how long has this journey been? Is it 12 years in? Is it a year and a half in? Is it like how long?
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Yeah, we'll have to maybe ask him, send him an email and ask. Or just look at his website. Probably says. Well, hey, Jason and Susan. Hi.
Jason Kurtz, you old dog. I haven't thought about you in a while.
Well, it's been a while since he's been out visiting us. So
Yeah.
we went to some gig together. Where we dressed up fancy when we still both had short hair. It was Cappy's some kind of winter ball or...
With Jason?
Yeah, he was just visiting. We all just went as a group.
I don't know.
I'll have to dig it out. Anyway, she does remember. Don't worry. It's not personal.
I don't remember shit, so it's not personal at all. I literally am nervous about what happens in my brain.
Oh, all right. So announcements. Well, the first announcement we have is that Meg got engaged.
I guess we're doing some good news first.
Monday. Well, it's the biggest news.
It is. It's big news. It's big news. I am, in fact, engaged to be married.
Veteran.
Oh, yeah, the Veterans Ball. That's what it was.
That's what you needed to remember that misspelled.
Veteran.
All caps.
I'll never forget it now.
Like you were my damn date.
Well, I
technically dated.
Well, no,
Went
but I was
together.
your date. Yes, I was your date. Yes.
Yes, it's not like it was some kind of blind date or
Boy,
something.
now I remember. I looked damn good.
You did look damn good in that dress.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did. That's a pretty dress on you.
That was 25 pounds ago.
Yeah. Yes, well.
I remember that part.
Yeah, you're adorable.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
So
anyway, so engaged. Everyone's around in love. We just got off a call with one of our partners on another company we have, and he just got back from his honeymoon. So everyone's in love.
Yes, it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing. All right. So and other announcements, much more boring nature.
Mundane
Much more
business
mundane.
announcements.
That's right. We're speaking with Success at North Dallas next Wednesday morning. I think Wednesday morning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, Wednesday morning. That'll be fun. That'll be really fun. I've been poo-pooing networking in general, probably because it's been all online. But, and so I'm trying to have a more open mind after today's meeting. That networking is where it's at.
Yeah, who'd ever thought that Rachel would be the one saying, I don't want to network.
I don't want to go to networking.
I don't want to meet people.
Well, I'm gonna, and it's gonna be great. Very excited about it. All right, with our buddy Bill Wallace at Success North Dallas and his crew. So, and then also next week we're speaking at the suffrage event at Black Hills State. It's a Black Hills State and School of Mines event being hosted online, virtually. Meg and I will be speaking about having a seat at the table, kind of our story as entrepreneurs, and both of our backgrounds are in largely male-dominated industries, so I imagine that'll come up. We haven't actually decided what we're going to say, but it's due on Monday, by the way, just so you know. We should remember the things.
I have a presentation to do tomorrow that I got. I'm not worried about Monday.
I know, that's like 5 whole days.
That's 5
from now.
days. That's like a
So
month and a
much
half
time.
away.
So much time. Let's see. And then election day's coming up. In case you haven't heard.
Yes, Election Day is coming up, and Shelley will be happy to post the link, at least for the state of South Dakota, where you can see what you're registered as and what have you.
Which I didn't even know this existed. Shelley's like, well, yeah, it's an online database. And I'm like, what? It's all crazy.
So take out the, for
so
you
if you
chaos
want to
tolerant.
stalk your friends.
Yeah. Ooh, gross. For you chaos tolerant people who have no idea how you registered in college and haven't looked at it since, go ahead and use this link because it's pretty handy.
It's pretty handy.
It tells you where you're registered, what county you're registered in, and all the things. So if you've moved a lot and you're not really, can't really remember exactly.
It's probably too late to change anything. So the benefit of that is if you registered,
October 19th.
Yeah.
October 19th, you got 5 days. But if you have moved and you don't have time to change it, then you'll have to either go back to that polling place or request a absentee ballot. So you better get on that now. You're running out of time. Let's see. You want to do the weekly quote?
I will, and then you can read the article.
Oh, okay.
When the vision of the company and the team align, the team is far more productive. As a leader, ask your teammates what part of their job they enjoy and what types of work they excel at. Pair that knowledge with their Helix culture type, and you'll have a tailored approach to a truly unstoppable team with razor-sharp focus. You know, that quote is interesting to me because a lot of times people say, so I have to know every person that works for me, and is that really possible, and is that actually practical? And the answer is yes, it is possible. And is it practical? Yes, practical, because you don't really have to do that much work to understand an individual person, especially if you use culture types, because we already did all the work for you. They just have to take the assessment, and then you kind of instantly know a little bit about them. But it's pretty interesting that our human brain assumes that getting to know people or understanding people and their preferences is hard. But in fact, once you know it, you sort of unintentionally store it. So you start creating habits and patterns in the way you engage with people, no matter what. So it's why not do it on purpose? That's kind of my message about that. So in case you're doubting that is in fact a good approach to business, you're wrong, and I'm right, and you should do it.
Meg's always right, just for the record.
Yeah. I may not, how does she say it on Little Women? I may not always be right, but I am never wrong.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay. Weekly writing prompt. We haven't done this one in a while. Let's do a fall reset and do our burn the bad, keep the good writing exercise. Okay, so burn the bad, keep the good writing exercise. You write down a list of all the bad things you think about yourself, or things that you worry about, or things that you think other people think about you or saying about you. Anything that's possibly bad in your life, write it down. And then crumple it up or fold it up, and then open it up one more time and make sure you didn't forget anything, and then crumple it up or fold it up again and burn that son of a bitch. That physical act of burning the piece of paper and all the bad juju on it helps your brain sort of reset for, thinking about who you are and where you want to go and what you want to do. So then the next thing you're going to do is write a list of all the wonderful good things that you see either coming into your future or that you have right now that you're thankful for, things that you want to work towards, cool things that you want to do, and you should make sure that there's at least one thing on that list that is scary to you, because that will really push you to think differently about how you can be successful. So fall is a great time to do that, since we're going to be coming into a new year very soon, sooner than we think we are.
Yeah, right.
And so now is a great time to be thinking about that.
Can I just say, yay for 2020 ending. I'm just gonna say.
I have a great 2020 story.
Oh, tell us more.
Peyton and I were getting pedicures yesterday. Peyton is my 10-year-old, for those of you who don't know. And there was a group of women getting pedicures next to us, like 4 friends. And one of them said something about, I don't think 2020 is anybody. I don't think anyone would say that 2020 was their best year. And Peyton looks over at me and she goes, and she knows like our business has been super successful this year. It's really taken off. I just got engaged. We have Shelly. This is the first full year we'll have Shelly, and she's an incredible part of our business. Like everything about our life is incredible and wonderful and good. And Peyton looks at me and she goes, I guess they don't know. And I was like, yeah, she definitely was just like, why? How could it? Why
How could you hate 2020?
Yeah, how could it
2020 is
not be
amazing.
somebody's best year? Like how could they?
Yeah.
So I was really proud of her.
Through the miles of babes,
Yeah, I
man.
was really proud of her that she could like connect all those dots.
Love it.
So even in the worst of times, you can have the best time, says a 10-year-old.
And a 46-year-old, actually.
Yes.
I'm on board with that.
Yeah.
We've had a great year.
Yeah, I know. I know.
More of this, please.
Yeah.
All right. So in the news, Shelley actually sent along a very interesting, I'm sure, Buffett, a story about Warren Buffett. However, I actually read a different Warren Buffett story. He must be on a tear right now to get some media publicity or something. Because I read a different story. And I'm going to post that in the comments. And it's kind of a cool title, which I think you would appreciate. It's Warren Buffett, 3 things in life that separate the doers and achievers from the daydreamers. So I clearly had to read that shit. So what I did is, so the 3 lessons, or the 3 things in life. So the first one is love what you do.
Pretty damn good advice.
Yeah, and for us, loving what we do right now means that we're working 16-hour days.
16 hours. 20 hours I was up yesterday.
I know, I'm with you. I was the same.
Oofda.
Yeah, but and actually most of that work is the difference. Yeah, it wasn't like we were just hanging out and staying up late partying or something. It was actual working time. So if you don't love what you do, it's awfully hard to talk yourself into that kind of level. And not that we want to do it for long. It's not sustainable, but it's certainly something that we're willing to do to make things happen for the company and the doing of what we love. The second one is stop thumb sucking, which I thought was really great. When Warren Buffett considers thumb sucking procrastinating, basically, or not making the decisions.
Being a pants shitter, that's what we
Being
call
a
it.
pants shitter. A little bit, but this is pretty specific, kind of like to our marketing discussion earlier today. How we were like,
I
let's
see.
move it.
I see.
Because he's like, get your information, do your research, look at your options, make a decision. He said, thumb sucking, waiting to make a decision, sitting on information and not making a decision never serves you. And so that was his number 2 thing.
Okay, I like it.
And number 3 thing was, which resonates with our conversation today, just a minute ago, which was ignore the competition. He has what he calls an internal, it's like checklist or internal, I forget what he calls it, but basically he has I got to find it because it's important to the thing. I should have wrote it down. Inner scorecard. So he's like, what is your inner scorecard? It doesn't matter what the competition's doing. It doesn't matter how much they look like you or talk like you. It doesn't matter if you don't make as much money as them or whatever it might be. Like, it doesn't matter. It's what is your inner scorecard and what are you holding yourself to? And so that is, I thought those were like 3 really good things that seem to like resonate with where we're at right now on some of the things that we're doing. So
Yeah, there was a lot of, because he's the Oracle of Omaha. So when I went to Creighton, there's a lot
Oh
of...
my God, Creighton's in Omaha.
There's a lot of buffeting.
There's a lot of Buffett around.
I heard him speak a time or 2.
Oh, did you? That's fun.
And he, took classes. I mean, so
Oh,
it wasn't
fun.
like in an auditorium. It was just not a very big group of people. And I am proud to say that I think Creighton, the College of Business specifically, really adopted this sort of same perspective, like no BS, if you're going to do it, go on and do it. Quit talking about it kind of approach. And I do think that I think him being in Omaha had a hand in that sort of attitude at the school. Yeah. Anyway, I really appreciate Warren Buffett's perspective on the world. He's just no bullshit. And he, you know, I mean, there's a lot of bad juju out there about Warren Buffett and his business style and ethical decisions. And I think the thing that has made him so successful is that he's so confident and passionate about what he does. He doesn't listen to the competition. Mm-hmm. Like this really is how he lives his life.
Yeah, he said his biggest investing mistake was he invested $385 million in U.S. Airways that then went bankrupt, basically. Mm. But anyway, I think the other thing I like about him is that because I think he's from the Midwest, he has that sort of attitude about it, mm-hmm. you know. And I've actually thought that our next book should be titled No BS. I don't know if that's a thing already, but it seems like that's kind of what resonates with our people.
Yeah.
So anyway, so the No BS thing is definitely our jam. Let's see. So IX leadership mentor member questions. So I've been job searching for almost 3 months after being laid off from my full-time job. Any tips for staying motivated?
You got bills to pay? That should be a pretty great place to start. I don't. True to my stop thumb sunking nature, I don't know. Sort your shit. I will say, though, when I first came back to Western South Dakota and graduated with my big, fancy, super expensive private college
bachelor's degree,
I couldn't get it. I was overqualified. That's what everyone I talked to told me. So I'm 22 years old, just fresh kid off the boat from college. And I'm
already overqualified.
Yeah, applying for business or applying for jobs. I had a finance degree, applying for a job as a banker at the local Wells Fargo, and they said, "Well, you're overqualified." I'm like, "Well, I've been in a bank as a customer 17 times in my life. Like, what do you mean?
I have been in your bank.
Like, I'm not overqualified. I don't know anything about banking. I'm happy to learn and whatever." So, it was pretty hard to stay motivated, but I guess I just decided that I wasn't going to give up and that kind of quit paying attention to your competition. That was always because they were always saying I was overqualified. So I'm like, well, who are you hiring then? I'll be more like them. Do you want me to act dumber? Do you want me to wear different clothes? And I think when I stopped focusing on that and started focusing on the kind of work I wanted, I had better luck. So think about what you want to do, not just the paying your bills part.
Well, my first inclination too is just sort it out with you. But I have to say, is I supported somebody in a recent sort of career evaluation. What do I want to do? I can't. In her case, she was mid-career, wasn't really making progress toward this big goal that she wanted, and her real problem was understanding her qualifications from somebody else's perspective. Mm-hmm. So, she would make a list of all the things she did. In her case, she was she's doing a lot of work with youth athletic programs, and she wants to someday be in the USA program, like Olympic USA program. And so she would list all the things that she did. But it sounded like anybody who does a volunteer coaching job for the city,
runs a daycare soccer team.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm like, how many kids did you work with? Well, about 3,000, because she was in New Jersey somewhere, big city in New Jersey. I said, what changed between when you started the job and when you left? Well, we only had like 3 programs, all for boys. When I left, we had 17 programs for girls and boys, and some mother-daughter opportunities, activities, blah, blah. Like, she'd built this huge program, basically, that nobody else probably could have pulled off but this crazy woman. And so I'm like, none of that's in here. Like, I don't see any of that in your resume at all. And plus, she was doing I'm going to send people my resume that don't know me. And I just think that's such a blind hope. Like for me, I always figure if they know it's coming, or that you know someone, or you ask the HR person a question about the job before you submit, then all of a sudden at least you're out of the 1,000 people in the stack. She's like, oh yeah, this is the woman that called and asked if this was any traveling with this job or whatever it might be. Like having some kind of connection with the role, with the company, with the person doing the hiring would be, is important. Otherwise you're just one of 1,000. And then you have to have like the best resume in the world to stick out. And that's even really hard because people don't look at everything. So anyway, do yourself some favors and really think about what you are actually doing, what you bring to the table for a job, and are you really representing what those skills are on your resume? So I guess that'd be my thing.
Yeah, that's good. Getting somebody else's perspective. Mm-hmm. I had a similar conversation with a young woman like 2 weeks ago, and she said, well, I just do this thing or that thing, and I'm like, you just do it. Like I know that you have done that. What that actually translates to is you can handle event planning for up to 5,000 people, right. Several facilities, food, and like all this stuff. And so I think getting somebody else's perspective on what you can accomplish, not just what your job says you do.
Right. I don't want a job description.
Yeah.
I want to know what you pulled off while you were in the job, or what you can pull off in my job.
Yeah. And I think another really important piece that people don't do when they're looking for work, because we're a little bit, for whatever reason, embarrassed, or I don't know what the thing is, but having a network, or, your network is only as good as how you use it. Mm-hmm. So you could have an incredible network, but if you never send your resume out to the people who can connect you and say, hey, I don't know if you know anybody who's looking for talent like this, but I'm looking for a job and here's what it is, or I'm looking for whatever. Utilizing your network is the most important tool, I think, in career development. Because if you didn't do that, you'd never, we wouldn't be working together if we hadn't been to several events at the same time and then got sort of brave enough to say, I kind of like your style, maybe we should work together. So
yeah, I guess don't send people your resume out of the blue, though. I guess don't send us your resume. Check in with people that you know that might know of ways to support you, and tell them you're looking, and would they happen to know anybody, and that you could send your resume if that would be helpful. Because I've gotten unsolicited resumes via LinkedIn, and I'm like, what? I'm not reading this. Like, I don't get that kind of time.
Well, yeah, don't be an idiot about it.
Don't be an idiot about it. All right, so this is a fun one. I recently opened my own business. It's growing way faster than I expected. This is how it's written. Way faster than I expected. We have more work than we can handle. We're experiencing some growing too fast pains. How do I better prepare for this continued growth in 2021?
Well, from a tactical perspective, I would say the first thing you should do is evaluate what is sucking up the most time in your business that is not what you are good at, and decide how much you need to pay or can afford to pay or should budget to pay someone else to do, whether it's a consultant or actually hiring a full-time employee. But figure out where you're going to drop the ball, because it's never in the spot where you can do the things, even if you don't want to do them. You won't let certain balls drop, but if there are things that you're not good at paying attention to, or pieces of the business you can't actually be paying attention to, figure out how to fill those holes. Because if you're obviously, I would imagine, delivering such a great product or service that you're like going gangbusters, if you break the chain anywhere, your product or service is going to start to suck, and then it won't matter.
Yeah,
so
right.
Get somebody in there before to fill the hole. Put the gum in the hole before the water gets high.
I think that's a little bit of a mixed metaphor, but I like it. I like it.
Put the gum in the hole before the water gets high.
But isn't it normally associated with the dam? You put the gum in the hole in the dam? No, different.
Well, I was thinking
she comes up with all of these amazing stories.
Well, I was thinking like a boat,
Oh.
Like in a boat, you put the gum in the. You see
Okay.
like cartoons
Right.
where they put the gum in the hole, and
so it doesn't flood.
Right, but see, the problem is once the water's there, you put the gum in the hole, and then the gum just pops
It doesn't
out.
stick. I know.
Yeah.
It's all the cartoons tell us that story.
I know. It's cartoons. Super
True.
relevant.
Hydraulic pressure is a thing.
Yeah.
Super relevant. Yeah, and I guess I would add to that, pay attention to what's the pain, right? Is it that you don't want to handle the routine stuff and just like want to do the creative, like art? We just talked to Evan Headley, like we mentioned, of Duckworth, and like he said, the people that started the company with all the great creative ideas are not the people that can actually do the day-to-day growth of the company, because it's just different skill sets basically. And for us it'd be sort of chaos versus order tolerant. And so where do you need to plug in? So if you need help, not only is it shit you don't want to do, but is it routine stuff that you are just not good at? Maybe you can do it, but it's not but that's not your zone of genius, as well as things you don't want to do. Or maybe you're growing to the point where you need someone to track your inventory. That's not, if you're a chaos person, hire somebody to help you with that. Just trust me. So that's part of it too, is what's going on in the company where you need the support, what kind of job it is. Make sure you put a person like that in that role. Because otherwise, if you try to, when you're hiring or looking at help or getting part-time help or contracting out, just make sure that who you're getting fits the thing that you want them to do. Because if you get another super chaos person in, then it's like, that's not going to help you actually get the nitty gritty done, as an example. So be aware, be sure that you're kind of looking at the duties through a culture type lens, as far as what are the bits and pieces that could be outsourced that would let you do that. So
I think one other thing that, while you were talking, I thought of, and we hear this from a lot of our potential clients that don't become our clients.
I can't wait to hear which thing you're going to say.
Well, when we talk to people and they say, oh, well, we acquired this business, or we're a startup company and we just opened this business, or we just put a new CEO in charge, or we whatever, insert change. And then they say, gosh, I'd love to work with you I would love to have you support us building a strategic plan, or doing leadership development, or fill in the blank. But they say, we just don't have time. If I put one more thing in front of my people, they'd probably collapse. Okay, well, having a plan for growth and change is the number one way to make sure they don't collapse. So if you are in the camp of shitting yourself that you just don't have time to make a plan, you better sort that out, because that will definitely bite you in the butt.
Right? Oh my gosh. Well, and frankly, the other thing that of people we don't get, which I thought you might be going, is that they've already got it all figured out. Right? Like,
well, yeah.
Oh, yeah, what you guys do sounds great, but I don't need any help because I've got it all figured out.
Except for I have these 17 problems I don't know how to fix.
Right, except, oh yeah, I have this, and I have this, and I have this, and I have this going on. But I've got my shit together, so it's fine. So that's the trap, is that be open to self-reflection and learning and being aware that you might not know everything, and in a way that's actually productive for you. It's not about you, it's about understanding how to grow your company. And frankly, not very many of us are taught how to do that. So it is okay if you don't get it and you have questions. Very smart people. We work with very smart people every single day. And some of them just don't have the background. I'm one of those people. Like it took me a long time to get my head around revenue and sales, and that I have to sell myself all the time. And it's not really me, it's really about what the value we provide and all of those things. Like, it took a long time to get around that. So I hired a lot of people to help me figure it out. So just be open. Just be open to things. All right.
Are we ready for good news?
We are ready for good news. I mean, we already had a baby good news, but we could celebrate it now. Whoopsh. Yay, good news. Some good news. Love it. All right, we already heard your big good news.
Yep.
Very terribly exciting.
Terribly exciting.
Meg's in love.
So much.
Oh, it's so fun. Let's see, other good news. there's this really cool story locally. So we have a school in Rapid City. It's called South Dakota School of Mines and Technology. It's a very small school. It's only like 2,000 people or so. And they have a nano sort of materials group of materials, like in manufacturing, like materials engineering. And they do nanoparticles and nano kind of stuff. It's pretty awesome. So the cool thing is they, I don't know if in this case it was, but they get a lot of research funding to do crazy new stuff about nanomaterials and nanoparticles. And in this case, and they have spun a couple companies out of mines. One of them is VRC metals. They have the spray on metal thing.
Yep.
And one of them is this new one we hadn't heard before. It's nanoparel. Parale? Is that how you say it?
Well, that's how you say
Parale.
That parale.
Yeah, nanoparale.
I don't know if that's how
LLC.
they say it.
And so this was back in 2011, and it says the article is telling us about how they were just acquired by some massive multinational. I'm looking for the name of it here.
Gamma Biosciences.
Gamma Biosciences. So, and they're hoping to keep a team in South Dakota to help them with the commercialization of some of his nanoparticle dealios. Yes, how much I understand about this stuff. It actually says the top here. It has this crazy picture. Basically, it's microfibers. They're called nanofibers, 1,000 times smaller than the human hair.
And what does it do?
That I don't know, but it looks. It shows it here. It looks kind of funny. There's a picture. Sample of the revolutionary nanofiber filter material that was synthesized by the company's research facility on the campus of South Dakota Mines. So
it's going to do something incredible.
I love it.
I hope they're listening because they should know they need to have us for this recent acquisition.
That's right. I didn't even make that connection.
Oh.
They're going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Probably overwhelmed. So anyway.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to, I really love when research gets translated into business, because I think there's so much good research going on at the universities, but they travel at a different speed than business. I remember years ago when I started the Black Hills Food Hub, and the price of tomatoes commercially grown in California and Florida were higher than you could buy locally grown tomatoes, because there was like some kind of drought and it was like this huge deal and there was no tomatoes, and so you could buy locally grown tomatoes for cheaper than industrially grown tomatoes. And I thought, how fascinating. Maybe as climate changes and all the patterns change, local food will actually become the cheapest option, and that will create a resurgence in, even more so, in local food.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to the next university academic conference that would talk about food distribution and climate change and how all that fits in and the agricultural implications. They were talking about, like 3 years before, research they had done. And I raised my hand and I said, what do you see on the economic trends of local food and how it's competing with industrialized food? You ask a question. And they're like, oh, well, we don't usually deal with the economics because it's too complicated. And I was like, what? What do I need you for?
Left hand, right hand, same body. Why aren't you talking?
Yeah, it was fascinating. So much there's the way that they're rewarded is so different. Business is rewarded by competitive advantage, fast acting, decisive, being ahead of everybody, trying to forward think through everything. And that's not the reward system for a big research institution. They're rewarded by publications that take 2 years to get published, research, and then you have to do the research before that. And so you're dealing with research that's 3 years old before you even can talk about it, really. So anyway, it was just fascinating. So I love this story on many levels. So.
Good job, gang.
All right. Yay. South Dakota School of Mines. Good job.
Was there more?
No, that's it. No. I am speaking of School of Mines, they've invited me to, there's a Professional Leadership Institute.
Yeah,
something like
PLI.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
at School of Mines.
Oh.
I was at, this is at PD, maybe it was Professional Development Institute. I forget the acronym. Sorry, guys. Anyway, it's students only, so you got to kind of know what it is to go. But last year they asked me to do a breakout about leadership styles and culture types and stuff. So I did that, and they loved it so much they asked me to come back and keynote this year.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so I'm going to be talking. The theme is leading from a distance.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So-
that seems to be the theme of the day.
Right, and so they actually are going to have an in-person component. And I said, I think it'd be more powerful to do it at a distance, because that's the whole theme of the conference. So I think that's going to be part of the magic. So anyway, so that I get to speak to that group, there'll be some people in person, and then some people will be virtual. So that'll be a fun event. I think that's on the 31st of October. So
Cool.
that is also exciting, and I'm really excited to contribute to their work. So, all right, I think that is all of the good news stuff.
All right.
All right, we're over our time. We should go.
Okay.
All right, thanks everybody. Talk to you soon.
Lead powerfully.
Change the world. Bye.